Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System 22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, in our last video, we showed you how to create a full screen background video using a local file, an MP4. We had some questions, one of which was, well, can you do it with a YouTube video? And the answer is, yeah, you can do it with a YouTube video. It's a shame that Divi 5 hasn't got this built in natively. But there's a workaround. I'll show you exactly how to do it. You can make a full width, full screen responsive video YouTube background very easily. So let's get started. Let's perhaps start a new page. And I can close those two pages down. Call it what you want. Something more imaginative than that probably. And let's use the Divi builder, obviously. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and build from scratch. By default, it puts in a section, the blue tab, and wants you to put in a row, a green tab. So I'm going to open the row, the green tab there, and we're going to put in a single flex column. Inside that column, I'm going to use a little code module. Now, let's put the module in. We need to actually put some code in here before you're going to see anything up here. So let's go over to YouTube and grab a video that we want to use. Okay, I found a little video on YouTube. What we need to do is hit the little share button underneath it. Let's make this full screen so you can see what's going on. We're going to go up to where it says embed here. And we've got some code that we can copy and embed it and put it on our site. And in a while, we'll add a couple of lines to make it autoplay, and we'll mute the sound also. Let's perhaps have it start at 9:04 so we don't have the opening credits there. I'm going to check that little box. Now let's recopy from the top. Make sure you don't miss anything, because if you do, it won't work. I'm going to copy that, Control-C. Let's go back to our Divi site here. In the code module, just left-click, Control-V, or right-click and paste, however you want. As you can see, we've got our little video there. Now, it's all well and good, but it's not auto-playing. It's way too small. I want it to be at least as big as the container it's in. There's a few ways of doing this, but they're really not very efficient. For instance, it's got a height and a width here. We can put 100% in the width to make it full width. But it's the wrong height. It's not maintaining its aspect. And so to make it maintain its aspect, let's just put that back to how it was. I'm actually going to write a little code and wrap it all in a little container here. So still in my code module, before the iframe there, I'm going to put my cursor to the left of it. I'm going to scoot it down. I'm going to write a little bit of CSS here. Now, as we're using a code module, we need to tell it that we're writing CSS. You can write this in your custom CSS panel if you'd like. I'm going to do it all in this module so you can see what's going on. So we've got to tell it it's CSS. So I can put left pointed bracket and the word style, and then right pointed bracket. As you can see, it's put in a closing style bracket for us. In between there, we can write whatever CSS code we want to write. Well, I'm going to create a class name. I'm going to call it perhaps vid or video container. All classes have a dot or a period. Now, the actual CSS I'll put down below if anybody wants to copy and paste it. You'll obviously have to get the iframe bit yourself. I cannot put the style tags down below because they won't let me put pointy brackets in either side. But the actual CSS I'll put down there for anybody that might want to copy and paste it. But it's very simple. So let's make up the name. Let's call it .vid -container. Now we can open and close some curly brackets and tell it what we want. Well, I want it to force the width to 100%. So I'm going to say width 100%. Then I want to make sure that the aspect ratio is the same, and that's 16:9 we're using on this. If you don't want that, then don't put this bit in, but it will keep it at that ratio, or you can change it to something that works for you if you've got a different aspect. So we'll say aspect-ratio, and that's 16:9. 16 dash. Perfect. So when we create it, we're going to have a container that's 100% of the width available, and it's going to keep our aspect ratio of 9:16 or 16:9 here. Perfect. Now I'm going to actually write something that's going to make the video full screen and full height. So let's drop down a little bit. So we'll make up another class name. Let's perhaps say YouTube vid. Obviously, call yours what you want. It wants to be unique. There can only be one class name of this or it will confuse the system. I just want to tell this to make sure that the width and the height are 100%. So I can do that width. In fact, I can copy that from the top if you want to. Control C, Control V. I'm going to paste it underneath. I'm just going to change the width to height there. Now I'm going to use a bit of my old HTML skills to make this work. So I'm going to wrap our iframe in a div or a divider if you like. And again, I can't put this down below, but it's very easy. Left pointy bracket, it's a div. And we need to give it a class name, class equals, couple of inverted commas here. And we're going to use video container for this one. You don't need the dot when you're assigning the class. You do when you're writing the CSS up there. Control C to copy. Make sure you put it in between your inverted commas there. Fantastic. I'm going to close that out. And to fully wrap this, we need to take this little closing div that it's put on the end there. Control X to cut. And throw it on the bottom right here. So after the iframe, you can either put it right there or drop down a line and put it. It's entirely up to you. Okay, we've now wrapped this in the container. And as you can see, just by the size of the lines that are going on here, it's actually done it. But the videos stayed the same size. Well, we actually created that CSS to make the video bigger now. And we called it YTVid. Remember, we don't need the dot. So I'm going to assign that class name to the actual video itself. So if we roll down here, where it says iframe there, I'm going to put my cursor just on the E at the end. I'm going to make a gap. And again, I'm going to say class equals, again, open some inverted commas. Inside, you know what we're going to do. Going to give it the class of YTVid. We can get rid of the actual width and height that they've got in there. Delete that. And the reason it's not displaying full height is because I spelled height wrong up here. If you spell things wrong with CSS, they will not work. Happens often when I'm talking and typing. HEIGHT. Now we've got our full width, full height video. And if we flip to tablet, be the correct aspect. I've got a phone here that's on horizontal mode. Perfect. And regular mode on a phone. If you find you haven't got that here, a lot of people don't know this new feature. If you go up to the three little dots here, you can decide which breakpoint you want to add to edit up here. And I just added the phone wide there. Perfect. Great. But it's starting to do what we want it to do. But of course, I want this full screen. So to make this all full screen, I just need to make this row full screen. Green tab for the row. Design. I'm sure you know how to do this. You go down to the sizing. You need to make the width 100%. And the max width also 100. But make sure you select percentage on the end here. And there it is. Perfect. Don't want the little gap at the top there. That's in the actual section itself. And we've got one on the bottom too. So to get rid of that, go into the section. Move into design and spacing this time. We'll just put a 0 in. Top. Hit the chain. Bottom. That gets rid of it. Perfect. And like I say, we'll add the code to autoplay this in a moment. It's very easy too. Okay, well, we want to have something over the top of this. I don't know what you may want a call to action or something like that. For simplicity, I'm just going to use a little blurb module and perhaps a button, but you can make it as complex as you want. And to do that, we've got to jig things around just a little bit. So I'm going to create another row, little green button to add a row here. Now my content is not going to be too big, so I'm actually going to use a column structure, perhaps something like this, or even something like this. And in the middle one, not in the left-hand column, I'm going to put my content. So I'm going to hit that one to add new module. I'm going to use a blurb. We'll make it how we want it. Put in a title, whatever you want it to say, obviously. If I roll down a bit, you'll actually be able to see it there. Don't want that much content on mine. I'm just going to take a bit away. I've got no real content. For the image itself, I'm going to throw in a light colored version of my logo here. And you could link that to the home page or wherever you wanted to link it. Over in design here, Layout's fine as flex. I'm going to roll down a little bit. Image and icon. Well, it's a bit too big for me. I want mine probably only to be about 250 pixels, 250. We want to select pixels over here. That's the width of it. It's in the middle, which is where I want it. Perfect. Don't want to do anything else to that image. So let's roll down to the text. I want it all to be in the middle. I'm going to flip it light in color. You can do them separately, header and body text down below if you want to. It's disappeared into a white background there, that's fine. And just so we can see it again, I'm going to go back to my content. If you watched the last video, you know backgrounds are always under content. I'm going to roll down to background. I'm going to add a background color. I'll make it a black. I'm going to take the opacity down to perhaps 50%. Fine tune it with the little arrows there. That's great. Want to give it a little bit of breathing space. At the moment, it's set to only take up a certain amount of the container. If you're happy with that, that's fine. I'm going to set mine to 100%, so it takes up 100% of the available space here. So back over in design, if we roll down to spacing, I'm going to give it 30 pixels spacing all around. Just put 30 in, hit the chain. It's got pixels selected by default there. I'm going to do the same for left and right. And what I said about the sizing, if we roll back up to sizing up here, blur modules, it's only set to 550 pixels. I'm going to change that to 100 and give it the percentage sign, so it takes up all the available space there. And just to finish off, I think I'll round up those corners there, and we can roll down the borders to do that. Here we are. Let's make it 30 pixels perhaps. It's got the chain checked, so it'll do all of them at once. Great. Now another fantastic new feature that they've added, while we're in the blur module, let's give it a button. We can go over to content and roll down to where it says elements here. We demoed this a few videos ago. If you want to add any other module or row or anything inside your actual blur module there, add element. What else you want to add? I'm going to add a button. As you can see, it's appeared inside it perfectly. I'm not going to style it or anything. Let's pop it in the middle by going over to design. Roll down a little bit. Here's the button alignment. Put that in the middle. Great. Okay, very good. Now what we want all this info over the top of our video. Now the easiest way to do this so it positions itself correctly when devices change is to use a bit of absolute positioning. So let's go into the row itself, green tab. Going to go over to advanced. I'm going to roll down to where it says position. I'm going to change it from relative to absolute. It's disappeared. Well, it's actually popped it up over here. And it's on the left-hand side. Let's pop it in the middle. Got a bit of a problem there. It seems to disappear when we pop it in the middle. If you pop it up and you don't see it on the top of here, but it's disappeared from down below, chances are it's actually behind the image itself. Not quite sure why it's doing that for us in the middle version, but I want it right bang in the middle right here. To make it appear, I think it's sitting behind our little video there. We can roll down to Z index, just start putting a couple of 9s in there, hit enter. That should bring it on top. For anybody that doesn't know, what Z index does is dictates how things stack on top of each other. Higher index number will always stack on top of a lower index number, so you'll see it on top here. That's basically what we've done here. So again, we've got this on desktop. We've got this on tablet, seems to be in the right place. I think may work for this one. Yeah, it works on sideways mobile. You want to check these on the actual devices themselves though, because this will get you close, but sometimes you need to make things smaller or larger. Don't think that's going to work on a regular phone though. We could take away the actual content and that would probably make it work. Or we could take away the logo. Whatever works for you. For anybody that doesn't know, if you want to take something away just on mobile, while we're in the mobile version, just click on the module itself. Let's go to our content. And perhaps we don't want any description down there. You can get rid of it, but it will still actually be there on tablet and mobile. And you can shrink the button text down or make the logo a bit smaller. We go over to our design now. Here's the image and icon. We can make that, well, let's make it 150. That should give the button a little bit more breathing room on the bottom. That just about works. Perfect. Let's go back to desktop there and make that video background play automatically. Now, as we scooted something on top with absolute positioning, you may not be able to get to it. I think I'm okay in this case. If I just click on it, it's taken us back to that code module, as you can see here. If we go to our content now, I'm going to go down here. I'll zoom in on this so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Here's the URL of the actual video. It's telling it to start at second 544, which was the 9-minute and something there. I'm going to put my cursor just to the right of the 4 there and just to the left of the inverted comma. Make sure you don't cut off that inverted comma. This will not work. First thing I want to do is make sure it's muted. So I'm going to put ampersand, or the and sign, mute, M-U-T-E, equals 1. That should mute the video when it plays, but it's not playing yet. So to make it play automatically, I'm going to put another ampersand, or the and sign, and we're going to say autoplay, A-U-T-O-P-L-A-Y, equals, guess what, 1. Look what happens. We've got our little video background playing there. We've got our content on the top there. And it should work perfectly on all devices. Those little frames won't be there. We'll show you on the front end in a moment. Let's just make sure. Here we have it on the tablet. That's going to work. On a phone, sideways, that'll work. Some things to remember. A lot of mobile devices will actually block autoplay content. So it might be an idea to put a little image behind your code module. That way, perhaps if it takes a long time to load, there'll be something for them to look at. Or if there's something that actually blocks the video, they'll have a nice image behind there. Just something to bear in mind. Okay, well, that seems to work on all devices. Let's see what it looks like on the front end. I'm going to save my draft. And we'll go ahead and preview. And here we have it. That video just took a split second to load there. That's not too bad. We've got our nice full screen. Just to show this off a bit more, let's get rid of our header here. If anybody doesn't know how to do that, just go to edit page. We can go to the right hand side where it says template here. I'm going to switch it from default template to blank. There we are. That way, save draft. There'll be no header at the top. And let's take a look. Perfect. Just what the doctor ordered there. And of course, I think this video is about an hour or something long, which is plenty long enough for any video on my site here. And of course, we're embedding it, so it makes it a little easier on the site. It doesn't take up quite so much resources as using a local MP4 like we did the other day. But you can get some fantastic things going with this. Like I say, we had to jig it around a little bit, but I've had to do this for clients in the past. This is always the way I've done it. Hopefully, the Divi 5 will come up with a way to do this much easier, more like an MP4 in the future. But if you need to do it, that's the way you can do it with Divi 5. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you have any questions either about Divi 4 or Divi 5, please drop them down below. I'll do my best to do a video or give you an answer if I can. Now we're getting closer and closer to Divi 5's final release. We're pretty much going to be concentrating on that. But like I say, if you've got any questions about Divi 4, happy to go over them. All my client sites are still backed up on Divi 4 or still exist on Divi 4. I won't be upgrading to 5 with my client sites, probably till maybe 5.1. Couple releases after the general run. Make sure there's no bugs on there for my clients. So once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.